If you guys have been following this story, Ashlee Jenea's tragic death is raising serious questions, and it's still unclear on what really happened. Now, with the latest update, her fiancé is finally speaking out. Joe McCann broke his silence after being questioned by police following Ashlee's sudden death while the couple was vacationing in Tanzania. In an emotional message, Joe says he feels devastation, emptiness, and shock after losing his fiancé, calling her his best friend and confidant. He also shared how heartbroken he is for Ashlee's parents, adding that her death is an incomprehensible tragedy. Joe went on to say that Ashlee dreamed of becoming a mother one day and believes she would have been an amazing mom. As we first reported, Ashlee, whose real name is Ashlee Jenea Robinson, was found unconscious in her villa and later pronounced dead at a hospital just days after the couple's engagement. Authorities initially suggested the possibility of suicide, but her family isn't convinced and is now pushing for an independent autopsy. Ashlee's body has since been returned to her family, but some of her personal belongings, including her engagement ring, are still missing. The investigation regarding Ashlee is ongoing, so we'll keep you guys updated as more details are revealed.
The Tanzanian police have officially closed the Ashlee Jenea case. Their ruling, announced June 4th, is suicide. And now that the investigation is officially over, Joe McCann, her fiancé, has broken his silence for the first time since she died. But Ashlee's family is not done. They are not accepting this ruling, and there are questions sitting inside this case that the official paperwork still hasn't fully answered. Here's everything: the ruling, Joe's statement, what the family is saying, and what people are still asking. Ashlee Jenea's real name was Ashlee Robinson. She was a 31-year-old lifestyle influencer who traveled to Zanzibar in April to celebrate her birthday. While she was there, her boyfriend Joe McCann proposed. She got engaged on what was supposed to be one of the best trips of her life, and she never made it home. On the night of April 8th going into April 9th, Ashlee and Joe got into a serious fight. The argument was bad enough that hotel staff got involved. Joe was moved to a different part of the villa, a section roughly 8 to 10 minutes away from Ashlee's room. Approximately 2 to 3 hours after they were separated, staff found Ashlee unresponsive in her hotel room. She was found in her closet. She was transported and did not survive. The hospital listed the official cause of death as cerebral hypoxia, meaning the brain was cut off from oxygen due to strangulation. From almost the very beginning, Tanzanian authorities indicated they were leaning toward a suicide ruling. Joe McCann was placed under investigation. He was not permitted to leave the country. He was not invited to Ashlee's funeral, and for weeks, he said nothing publicly, which at the time made sense given that his lawyers almost certainly advised him not to contact the family or make any statements while the investigation was ongoing. On June 4th, the Tanzanian police made it official: suicide. In announcing the ruling, investigators said they had gone through Ashlee's phone and found a ChatGPT search from March, approximately 1 month before the trip, in which she had asked questions about self-harm. They also said that text messages to people close to her showed she had been struggling mentally and dealing with depression, and that some of those messages read as though she was saying goodbye. What investigators did not release publicly was a full autopsy report or a full toxicology report. The cause of death, cerebral hypoxia, was established by the hospital. But the comprehensive documentation that would typically support a ruling this significant has not been made available to the public, or, according to her family, to them. Once the ruling came down and the investigation concluded, Joe McCann spoke. He put out a written statement that opened with a Swahili proverb, "The heart is like a forest. One cannot see into it," before addressing the ruling directly. He wrote that the official announcement from Tanzanian authorities that Ashlee Robinson died by suicide does not lessen the tragedy of her death. He said he misses her every moment of every day and that the pain of being without her will never go away. He described her loss as something he could not simply get over. Ashlee's family is calling all of it into question. Her mother has said publicly that Ashlee never showed any signs that would have made her believe her daughter would take her own life. But the family's concerns go beyond grief. They have raised specific, documented issues with how this whole situation was handled. First, the notification. Ashlee's family says they found out about their daughter's death from the resort, not from Joe. He reportedly waited approximately 11 hours before contacting them, and when he did call, he told them she was okay and stable. She was not okay. She passed away the following day. The family learned the full truth from the resort, not from the man she had just gotten engaged to. Second, the condition of her remains. When Ashlee's body was returned to her family in New Jersey on April 24th, none of her personal belongings were with her. No phone, no jewelry, no engagement ring. Nothing that she had brought on that trip came home with her. The family has not received an explanation for why. Third, the investigation itself. The family commissioned their own independent autopsy after her body was returned to the United States. Those results have not been made public. Whether that's because the results aren't back yet, or because the family is choosing to hold them until they have a clearer path forward is unknown. They have not commented on that specifically, but the fact that they pursued an independent examination says a great deal about how much trust they have in the Tanzanian findings. Now, here are the questions that people following this case are sitting with. And to be clear, these are questions, not conclusions. The ChatGPT search is one of the central pieces of evidence cited by Tanzanian investigators. But the nature of that evidence raises a straightforward question. How do investigators establish with certainty who conducted a particular search on a shared or accessible device? That question doesn't automatically mean anything sinister happened. It means the evidentiary value of a phone search depends entirely on who had access to that phone and when. The investigation apparently treated that search as belonging to Ashlee. Her family's position, as best they've communicated it publicly, is that there are things about this case that don't add up. There is also the matter of the fight that night. Hotel staff were involved. Joe was physically separated from Ashlee and moved to a different part of the property. 2 to 3 hours later, Ashlee was found. The timeline, the nature of the fight, the separation, the discovery, none of it has been publicly walked through in a way that gives a complete, step-by-step account of what happened between the time Joe was moved and the time Ashlee was found. The Tanzanian police have closed the case. That account may not become fully public. People also keep coming back to the fact that this happened in Tanzania. Forensic standards, investigative procedures, and legal frameworks vary significantly across countries. Whether the investigation that was conducted met the bar that Ashlee's family or outside observers would consider thorough is a genuinely difficult question to answer from the outside. What can be said is that the lack of a publicly released autopsy report and toxicology report is unusual for a case of this level of public attention. Joe McCann is now legally cleared. The investigation is closed. Under Tanzanian law, that's the end of the official process. He cannot be tried again on these facts. He is free to move forward with his life. Ashlee's family is not moving forward. They have said they are not done. What not done looks like from a legal standpoint, whether they're pursuing anything in the United States, whether they're working with any advocacy organizations, whether the results of their independent autopsy open any new avenues, is not yet clear. They haven't mapped out their next steps publicly. What is clear is that a 31-year-old woman went to Zanzibar to celebrate her birthday, got engaged, got into a serious fight with her fiancé, and was found dead in her hotel room hours later. The official ruling says she took her own life. Her family says that is not the woman they knew. Her personal belongings never came home. The man she was fighting with waited 11 hours to call her family, told them she was stable when she was not, and is now publicly expressing grief while her mother says she was given no warning signs that any of this was possible. Whether the ruling is accurate, whether this was a tragedy that the people closest to Ashlee didn't see coming, or something else entirely, is a question that the Tanzanian authorities consider answered and Ashlee's family considers open. The independent autopsy's results, if and when they're released, may be the last significant piece of information this case produces. Until then, what happened in that hotel room between the times Joe McCann was moved across the villa and the time Ashlee Robinson was found remains something only the people who know are telling. Drop a comment. Do you believe the official ruling? And do you think Ashlee's family has enough to pursue this further?